Okay, I was trying to think of what I can tell today. I could tell a story about Nipplegate. The day Janet Jackson had showed a boob during the Super Bowl. Okay, so that weekend I was out hustling and I had got home on Saturday. And then I was living in South Carolina at the time. I had my own apartment. It was a cute little apartment too. Oh, I was supposed to put that picture in the other video. Shit. Okay, anyway. So, um, Sunday I got up. I went to church, I think, and I went and made some money. But then for like the afternoon, oh shit, here coming up. Anyway, I had got finished, and I didn't have anything to do for the rest of the afternoon. So then I talked to my boyfriend at the time, Darian. I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I'm going to a Super Bowl game to watch the game." I was like, "Oh, that sounds fun." And then I waited because I thought he was going to invite me to go with him, but he didn't. I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll just talk to you after the game." He was like, "Yep, okay." So I didn't have shit to do. So I was like, "I'll just go home." So I went back to the house. And then they announced, "Oh, Janet Jackson's performing for the Super Bowl." I was like, I'm a Janet fan. This would be sickening. I wonder what she's going to do. So I was sitting at the house. That whole weekend I didn't really do nothing. I think that Sunday. I think I went to church that morning. And that's when I was calling him. I called Darian on the way home from church. Got to the house. I remember. I think I went to Wendy's and got something to eat, and then I came back to the house and I just sat there and I was waiting on Janet to come to me. I'm not a sports fan by any means. The closest that I want to get is soccer, and soccer was not popular in the United States at the time, and so there was nothing for me to. I wasn't into sports, so the game it was on, and I was waiting on Janet. And that was it. And so the game was on, and I was just sitting there. But the reason I'm saying all of that is I don't want there to be any confusion when I say, "Oh, the game was on," and you, as the viewer, are thinking, "Oh, he watched that game." No, I didn't. The game was on. I was waiting on Janet, and so Janet starts performing. Oh, sickening. Janet performing, la la la, and I'm not. Boom, camera cuts. And I sat there and I looked at the screen. I said, "Hey, what happened to the performance? Why did it?" Oh, her sound must have went out or something. Damn. And then they just went on with the rest of the. It was like a commercial came on, and then I was like, "Oh, I guess that was it." So I waited until after the game was over because I knew Darren was with his friends and I didn't want to disturb him. And I just, but it's kind of weird, when your boyfriend's out with his friends and you call him and you keep calling him. He's like, "I'm with my friends, goddamn it, leave me alone." And I didn't want him to do me like that. So I left him alone until after the game. And so I waited till after the game and I called him. Did I call him or was he in the car with me? I can't remember. I don't know. My memory is saying that we were in the car together. I want to say maybe the next day we were in the car together, and I was like, "Oh, did you watch the game, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "It was a good game." He's like, "What made it so good?" Mm. It seemed interesting. I watched Jenny's part. I said, oh yeah, I saw that. So that ended that part of the conversation. Now I'm going to tell you what happened in my brain on the inside. I will never ask him ever again about anything to do with sports. When I tell you he had trumped the fuck out of me when he said what was so good about it, I literally had no answer for that question. If a motherfucker that watch sports, if you tell them, oh, that was a good game, wasn't it? And they said, well, what was so good about it? I had absolutely nothing to say. And then I remember, I don't know why, but for some reason my memory is telling me we were sitting in the car and I felt dumb as fuck because there was complete silence after I said, I don't know. And then I just left it alone. And so after that, I don't talk to him about sports at all. Or even to this day, I still don't talk to him about sports. Okay. So now, fast forward. I'm on the road again to go hustle, make some money. And I hear on the radio the DJ's talking about Janet's performance. Did you see Janet's titty? Janet Jackson's titty was out. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Oh, bitch, I was finna run. What the fuck is he talking about? I watched the same performance. I didn't see no titties. I don't know what the fuck he talking about. Straight people are so fucking weird. I don't know. Bullshit. I'm gonna listen to it. Some lady in Knoxville is suing the football league and Janet Jackson because her son saw Janet Jackson's titty. Honey, it wasn't no titty. That was some bullshit. I don't. What is she suing for? She had on a bra. What the fuck is he talking about? Honey, anyway, go on by my hustle. La la boo de boo. The Vibe magazine comes out, I think like a month later or so. I said, oh, Janet's on, no, somebody, I forgot who was on the cover, but on the cover it talked about Janet's Super Bowl performance. Super Bowl. I said, oh, this is exciting. Let me read what the Vibe had said about Janet. I opened it up. It is a full spread of Janet Jackson with her titty out. Oh my God, what the fuck? I was like, what in the hell? I was like, what is this? And then I called my boyfriend. I was like, and we talked about it. He was like, you didn't watch it? I thought you watched the game. Yeah, I watched the game, but I didn't see no titties. He said, no. That part at the end, that was her titty. I was like, oh, are you serious? He was like, yes. I was like, oh my gosh. I watched it and it didn't even dawn on me. It was her titty. And but it was so crazy because that weekend, it was the most tranquilest weekend for me. And I just happened to not have anything to do on that Sunday. Didn't have no boyfriend. It was no movies out. It was nothing. And the only thing I could do, I was like, I'm just go to the house and just wait on Janet to perform. And that's what I did after church. And so that's when I realized what Nipplegate was, because everybody kept talking about, I was thinking maybe it was like a little wardrobe malfunction or something. Like a real wardrobe malfunction. Then I'm hearing this stuff about Justin Timberlake and as I learned what it all was after it happened. It didn't dawn on me what happened when it happened. It dawned on me after, and then all the stuff with Justin Timberlake and Janet and all of that stuff. So that was it. So that was another thing in, I guess, history that I actually witnessed. Anyway.